Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Tech Beans and welcome back to the epic camera comparison series. This time we will be comparing the Asus Zenfone 5 to the Vivo V9. Yes guys, the mid-range phones are coming fast this season and these two phones are definitely up there on top of everyone's list. And in this video, we are bringing you all the things that you need to know about the Zenfone 5 and the Vivo V9's camera, HDR, low light, selfie, video, and yes, even AI. So much goodness in one video. So without further ado, it's time to battle.
No.
The Zenfone 5 making a comeback this 2018 with a 12-megapixel dual-pixel Sony sensor, one standard and one wide angle, both having an aperture of f1.8. It has face detection autofocus, 4-axis OIS, AI, and LED flash. It also has 3-axis EIS for smooth video recording, and at the front we have an 8-megapixel selfie shooter with an aperture of f2.0. It also has AI, has beauty filters, and screen flash. The Vivo V9, on the other hand, has a 16-megapixel main shooter accompanied by a 5-megapixel secondary camera, both having an aperture of f2.0, has face detection autofocus and LED flash. Not as stacked as the Zenfone 5, but on the front, the Vivo V9 is sporting a 24-megapixel selfie camera with an aperture of f2.0. Has AI, beauty filters, and screen flash. So you've seen the specs, now here are the pictures. Everything was set to auto here, so here we go. Now the first thing that you will notice here is the color. The Zenfone 5 has brighter and more vivid colors compared to the Vivo V9. The V9 has a more neutral profile and is a bit warmer. Mostly what you will see in the Zenfone 5 here are livelier and much punchier photos. But in terms of detail, the Vivo V9 has more of it, as you can see on the rocks right here. Also, another thing to notice here is the light, which is a big one. The Zenfone 5 is not very good at handling light. If it manages to get some bright light, it overexposes it, leading to some blown out parts in the picture. Now this leads us to HDR. The Zenfone 5's HDR is pretty bad in daylight. It's supposed to balance the foreground and the background and capture more details, but here, as you can see, the foreground is kinda good in the Zenfone 5, but here in the middle, there's nothing but bright light and it's just splashing all over the buildings. While on the Vivo V9, it's definitely spot on. You can see some buildings here and the light is just much more controlled. Now I'm pretty sure that the HDR was on, and yeah, I checked everything in the settings. This was all what the HDR could do. Now here's a video sample to showcase both phones' HDR capabilities in bright light. It's not all that bad. As long as there isn't too much light, the HDR will work fine. Now here's some more video samples to test the EIS. As you can see, the Zenfone 5 has smoother movement than the Vivo V9. The V9 lacks EIS, thus the jerky movement. Now for human subjects, the Vivo V9 just handles skin better. As you can see, there are portions of our skin that are blown out here. The lens on the Zenfone 5 is really bright. I guess too bright for its own good. But yeah, the Vivo V9 is just really good at it. Wow. Now here are some pictures I took inside of a mall, and yeah, there is still some decent amount of light here. The photos are mostly on equal footing here. The Zenfone 5 is actually a great low light shooter and can retain a lot of detail in the absence of light. But yeah, you might have noticed the Vivo V9 is actually able to catch up, and in some cases looks better. Also tested the bokeh here. Both have a max aperture of f0.95, but the bokeh on the Zenfone 5 is much more prominent. Now in places that were darker, the Zenfone 5 clearly had it good. You can see more detail, like the buildings behind the fountain right here. They still can be seen. The Vivo V9 can't even come close here, especially on this picture right here. Now this is something to behold. The difference is like night and day. If you are someone who goes out and takes pictures tonight, definitely get the Zenfone 5. This thing is crazy good in low light. Look at that. Now here's some low-light video test. Now for selfies, the Zenfone 5 having AI by default. Not AI beauty, but AI software is kicking in here. Here is beauty filter on. The Zenfone 5 looks kinda nicer to me, as my face is smaller here compared to the Vivo V9. Also, there's the HDR issue again on the Zenfone 5. The selfie camera also overexposing the skin. Overall, the Vivo V9 has the better selfie shooter. Skin tone is well balanced, HDR is working well, and there is more detail. But you won't go wrong with the Zenfone 5. It's getting there. It just needs a little work. Now here are some low-light selfies. Hey there, so I'm currently at BGC taking this selfie video. So I kinda noticed that the Zenfone 5 has a beauty filter and the Vivo V9 doesn't. But I think my skin is quite smooth. Still quite smooth. Nice. So let me show you now the HDR on the selfie video. Now there's something wrong with this selfie picture for the Zenfone 5, because when you have a selfie video, what you want is to focus on your face. Only the Vivo V9 is able to do that, but the Zenfone 5 is actually focusing on the background. Okay, I don't know if these guys have EIS, but I'll see in post. But this is how I look like when walking with both these phones. So which do you think, guys, has better audio? Comment down below your answer. Okay, so this is the low light video test. I'm just gonna take a walk here. So it looks like my face is still kind of neutral on the Vivo V9. Well, on the Zenfone 5, it looks kind of orange. Hey guys, this is the extreme low light video test. And the Vivo V9 is the brighter among the two. Yeah. I'm talking like this because everyone is already asleep. Can't shout here, guys. I just have to do this kind of voice. Alright, good one, Vivo. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this selfie video. Thank you so much, guys. Please subscribe to my channel and drop a like. And yes, that is certainly it for this camera comparison between the Zenfone 5 and the Vivo V9. There is definitely more room for improvement for the Zenfone 5 camera. Hopefully the HDR will be better in the future, along with capturing the right skin tone and color. But hey, the low light on this thing is just phenomenal. Best low light shooter so far in our tests. But I have to give it to the Vivo V9. I was able to capture great photos with the rear and also the selfie with little to no issues at all. If it's based on camera alone, I'll have to go with the Vivo V9. Great job, Vivo. This has been a great camera battle. I'll be doing more camera comparisons soon. Just got my new Oppo F7. Let me know, guys, in the comments which comparison you want to see next. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss the next camera comparison. This is Vince Domingo from TechBeans, and I'll see you on the next video.